Hold on now, hold on. Okay, understand. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante buri panya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipana anuttara sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang paripunang panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya maja pamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Vadita Visukadasana Malakanda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Idang me silang Magapala Nyanasa Pachayo Hotu Appamadena Sampadeta Sadhu. Right. Let's start with guided upeka. And we sit here and relax the body. Let go of all the vipassana objects and just keep the mind present here, peaceful, calm. Let the body relax from top of the head, forehead, face, neck, shoulders and arms, to the chest, stomach area, to the back and spine, to the hips, buttocks, to the down to the thighs, knees, calves, ankles, soles, toes. So relax the whole body. I am the owner of my own karma. I am the owner of my own karma. Whatever wholesome actions, speech or thoughts, they will produce happiness in the present or in the future. Whatever unwholesome actions, speech or thoughts, then they will produce unhappy resultant in the present or in the future. I'm subjected to the law of karma. I'm subjected to the law of karma. I'm subjected to the cycle of samsara. I'll face birth, aging, sickness, death. May I able to accept them? Able to accept them with equanimity, not with fear or anxiety, but with a balanced state of mind that comes with understanding. I am the owner of my own karma. When I die, the only thing I can bring is all the actions, deeds, speech, all the karma I've done towards the next life. I'm subjected to the law of samsara, going through aging, sickness, death, and rebirth. I accept the law of karma, the law of birth and rebirth, with equanimity, with a balance of mind, without fear, without anger, without attachment, but with understanding and wisdom. Now let us expand our equanimity, reaching out to all the beings here. Monks and nuns, fellow yogis, the helpers, volunteers, workers, to all the guardian devas of this center, to all other devas residing in the neighborhood, to all the petas, and to all the animals, big, small, seen or unseen. All of us here are subjected to the law of karma. We are the owners of our own karma. Whatever intentional actions, whatever wholesome intentional action we do, they will produce happy resultant in the present or in the future. Whatever unwholesome action, speech, or thoughts, then they will produce unhappy resultant in the present or in the future. They are all subjected to the law of karma. They are also subjected to the law of cycle of birth and rebirth. They go through aging, they go through sickness, death, rebirth. So all of us here are subjected to the law of karma, to the law of samsara. May I able to accept all this with wisdom and understanding, without fear, without anxiety, but with a balanced state of mind that comes with wisdom. Now let us expand out the equanimity to all the beings, reaching out to all the beings in this country, humans or non-humans, betas or devas, animals big, small, far or near, seen or unseen. They too are subjected to the law of karma. Whatever wholesome action they have done, then it will produce happy resultant in the present or in the future. Whatever unwholesome action, speech, or thoughts, then it will produce unhappy resultant in the present or in the future. So all beings in this country are subjected to the law of karma. They are the owners of their own karma. Karma is their closest relative. Karma will follow them from life after life. Beings here are subjected to the law of samsara, to the aging, sickness, death, rebirth. May I able to accept all of them with understanding, with a balanced state of mind, without fear, without anxiety, without grief or sadness. That the mind able to stay in balance with understanding and with wisdom. Now let us reach out. Let us reach out to all beings in this world without exception, whether they are our loved ones near or far away, whether they are those people whom we do not know wherever they are, or those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. Reaching out to all beings, to all the devas, to all the guardian devas of the Buddha Sasana, to all other devas residing in this world, to all the betas, to all the animals, big, small, far or near, seen or unseen. Now all beings in this world, they are the owners of their own karma. Karma is the closest relative. whatever actions, whatever wholesome actions they do in the past, whatever wholesome actions of the past, then it will produce happy resultant in the present or in the future. Whatever unwholesome actions, speech, or thoughts from the past, then it will produce unhappy resultant in the present or in the future. So all beings in this world are subjected to the law of karma. They too are subjected to the law of samsara, of aging, sickness, death, and rebirth. All beings in this world also subjected to the law of karma, to the law of samsara. May all beings able to live in peace and not in fear or anxiety, but with wisdom and compassion. All beings in this world, they are the owners of their own karma. Now let us expand. Let us expand the equanimity to all beings, without exception, without condition, without boundary. Whether they are in this universe or other universes, from the highest planes of existence down to the lowest planes of existence, and all the world systems. All beings without exception. They too are subjected to the law of karma. Whatever intentional, whatever wholesome actions of the past, then it will produce happy resultant in the present or future. Whatever unwholesome actions, speech, or thoughts from the past, then it will produce unhappy resultant in the present or in the future. They are subjected to the law of karma. Karma is their closest relative. And all beings too go through the cycle of birth and rebirth, through aging, sickness, death, rebirth. All beings are subjected to the law of karma, to the law of cycle of birth and rebirth. May I able to accept the true nature of life with a balanced state of mind, with equanimity, with wisdom and understanding. May I accept the truth without fear, without anxiety, without sadness or grief, but with understanding, with wisdom, with equanimity. Now let go of the reflection. Let go of the reflection. We bring the mind back again to the body. Feel the sensation of the body. Feel the rise and fall of the abdomen. Then we can slowly open our eyes. Right. So, today Thursday. So on Tuesday, we talk about the conditions for concentration to arise. And then that one, I talk about the skillfulness of taking up the vipassana objects. As I said, the nature of vipassana objects, they behave or they will show you very in a very diverse manner. So diverse manner in the sense that at the beginning of your practice, you will see them you see them one way, but as you develop further into the meditation, as the mindfulness grow, you'll see them in another way. Because these are all their truth or their true characteristics begins to unfold itself for you to see. Yeah. In the beginning of the practice, we cannot see all these type of things because the maturity of the mind or the development of the mind is not sharp enough. So the truth will not be unfold or unveil itself to you. The more that you practice, the more that you try again and again. As the mindfulness become more concentrated, the mindfulness become more penetrative, then all these objects begin to slowly unfold itself further. All the characteristics begin to unfold itself further for you to see. And many of these characteristics you will not see it in the past, but a lot of times it will be a first time for you to notice. First time for you to notice these type of things, and sometimes some of us may not be comfortable with new objects are coming in or new experiences are coming in, because sometimes the experiences that's coming in does not fall within the context of your thinking. That means you never thought of it before. How could it come like that? So when these things happen, so a lot of times the yogi may not be feel comfortable. But as I said many times, you got to learn to trust your noting mind or to trust your mindfulness to see whatever that is being arises right in front of you. So to see them again and again, because they are actually unfolding themselves for you. New phenomena or new characteristics are unfolding itself for you to see deeper, clearer. With all this type of phenomena that's coming up, all the arising and passing away in many ways that is coming up, then all this, again, the anicca, dukkha, anatta will come in various ways. Sometimes you don't even think about it, but it's already shown to you. Until enlightenment occurs. So as I said, one has to be skillful in understanding and also seeing the true nature of these vipassana objects. Hmm? Right. So more or less, we cover on the concentration. We cover on that concentration. We're going to go tonight and also the next few talks, we're going to look into equanimity. So there are 7 factors of enlightenment. So we have from mindfulness to investigation of Dhamma to where? To effort. Then what do we have? Joy. Then or rapture, the word. Then we have tranquility. Then we have concentration. Then we have equanimity. 7 factors of enlightenment. These 7 factors of enlightenment, when it comes as the noting mind. Yeah, it's none other than all the thing. It's not something special that one day you will only come. The more that you start meditating in the vipassana, the more that you start meditating vipassana and you strive for the enlightenment, to strive for ourselves to be free from this cycle of birth and rebirth, then all this noting mind is all the 7 factors of enlightenment is being applied, and we use it, we call it the noting mind. And that noting mind is the one that pays attention to the objects. Then the objects unfold itself, the truth, the characteristics and everything. So these 7 factors of enlightenment, although there are 7, but does not mean that all the time they are there. Not all the time they are there. The crucial ones are there. For example, mindfulness should be there. Sometimes investigation of Dhamma not so strong, but sometimes it's there. Effort is there. Sometimes joy is not there. Sometimes joy is there. Tranquility also, it's there, but not so prominent. Concentration, yes, but sometimes also not prominent. The most difficult to see is the equanimity. Because the equanimity does not present itself in the beginning of the practice. It takes a lot of practice in order to see the nature of equanimity. You see, in the samatha meditation, in a jhana, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, if we go through by the sutta method, if we go through by abhidhamma method, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They call it the rupa jhana, the material jhana, because it starts off with the body, things like that. Now, first jhana, you don't see equanimity yet. Second jhana, you also don't see. Third jhana, you also don't see. Only when it comes to the fourth jhana, then only you see the equanimity much more clearer. Much more clearer. Although in the third jhana, it already comes with some degree of equanimity, but the happiness, pleasant mental feelings are much more stronger. They are more on top of the equanimity. But when it comes to the fourth jhana, then the equanimity will become at the top. Then this pleasant feelings all disappear. It's only concentration, they call it concentration, and equanimity is there at the fourth jhana. So you see, even in the jhana stage, equanimity is not prominent in the beginning part of the jhana also. So it's until the fourth jhana, then equanimity becomes clear. So too, when that samatha yogi practices like fifth jhana, sixth jhana, seventh jhana, eighth jhana, this is called the arupa jhanas. Now, the arupa jhanas, although they take up slightly different object, mental object, but this time the factor is equanimity and concentration. All the pleasant feeling, piti, sukha, and all that thing no more already. Yeah? So the higher the higher that you go, everything comes into equanimity, balance, concentration, like that. No more hoo-ha. Some people thought that the deeper you go jhana, the more song, in a way, But the deeper that you go, all these type of feelings no more. They all in a state of equanimity. So too, when we go into vipassana, also the same thing. In the beginning of vipassana itself, you don't see much of this um, equanimity. But equanimity is already doing its job, but it's at the background. It's at the background. And many times I said that the equanimity comes in, it helps to balance the state of mind. It's already doing its job. But more or less, a lot of times, what we see is the sometimes the mindfulness become clear, or the investigation of the Dhamma is clear. Sometimes the effort is clear. Sometimes tranquility become more clearer. But equanimity, hardly, until we reach up to what we call Sankara Upeka Jnana, equanimity of formations. That equanimity of formations, that time, equanimity becomes a prominent aspect of the practice of the mind. As the word itself, equanimity about formation. That means sankara. Sankara here, formation. What type of formation? Bodily formation, mental formation. The word formation is just another word for mental process or bodily process. Other words, the object that you are noting right now, here and there and everything. When the mind is alert. So that time, the equanimity becomes very, very clear and very prominent. Other words, that time the mind is very steady and very balanced. Nothing kacau it. Nothing. And then that time, with that, when the maturity of that equanimity of formation, then the maturity brings about the enlightenment. So the door of, you're knocking on the door of Nibbana, is equanimity, not song. Not happy, pleasant going in. Oh, so happy to be in Nibbana. Now that you talk like that, and we know that you are not there already. You're somewhere, somewhere except Nibbana. So coming with Nibbana, the development of the realization of Nibbana, before the realization is all about equanimity. So do you see the development of samatha and the development of vipassana, they are parallel. One, it comes into jhana in the sense that it's its development, its quality, all this like vitaka, vichara is slowly being eliminated until like equanimity. So too, in the vipassana also, not to say they are eliminated, but the more and more things like equanimity at the end becomes much more prominent, so much more prominent. So there's a parallel in the development of samatha and vipassana. Now, so what is equanimity then? What is this upeka? Upeka, it can come in as just in not necessary to be connected with enlightenment factor. That means, for example, if you practice samatha meditation, and then let's say you reach until the fourth jhana, you also have upeka, right? So But if you don't use that upeka for enlightenment and just for jhana only, just for the, perhaps some people would just want to reborn in the Brahma realm. Yeah, they want to get out of samsara, just want to reborn Brahma realm. So that is upeka, although it's very strong, but it's not factor of enlightenment. Because he's not using it for enlightenment. Okay? It's not using it for enlightenment. So the factor of enlightenment is that it has to be used for enlightenment, it has to be applied so that enlightenment is the final product. But if you practice samatha meditation, let's say, and then you want to, your final goal is still enlightenment, then after that you switch over to vipassana. So that samatha, it's that upeka, it's a factor of enlightenment. You see, the goal also is important. Yeah, the goal is important. Yeah. So in order for the enlightenment to take place. Okay. So the nature of this equanimity, let me wait now, is to produce what we call the evenness. Evenness in the consciousness and also the mental factors. Evenness in the consciousness and mental factor. Evenness here means you are not too much or too little. This is at optimum stage. Many times I use the word, your noting mind has to be at an optimum level, not too much or not too little. So when it is at optimum stage, that is to say that equanimity is doing its job. And to keep it in the optimum stage, this is where the equanimity is the one that is actually make sure that those other factors doesn't go too much or too little. So that the concentration doesn't go too much or too little, just enough. Effort doesn't go too much, too little, just enough. The joy factor doesn't go too much or too little, just enough. Yeah? Everything is just enough. Equanimity is the one that it's make sure that this thing stays there. Yeah? Mindfulness, if you talk about excessive or deficient, then mindfulness is the one who knows that, hey, this one is too much already. Because that thing happened in the present moment. Then again, after that, equanimity will try to hold them back to balance together. But normally we don't talk in so detailed, Normally in the beginning part of meditation, when we talk, just be mindful, mindful. Then when the mindfulness is there, equanimity also come together with it. It's a default. They both come together with it. So when both of them come together with it, then you can note your object in a clear manner. So when your object in a clear manner, all you need to do is just pay attention to them. And then progress will keep going. But the problem is that our noting mind, no, after that we go into thinking. No, sleepy. No, and then don't know what happened. Then in other words, the mind has gone into the defilements come in, or something become deficient. For example, like the energy become deficient, then the mindfulness become deficient, agitation of the mind come in, or the thinking mind comes in. So you already cut out the whole thing, the whole noting. So there's the state of mind is not always in the state of balance. But it's about, again here, it's about a lot of skills that we develop over time. Then we try to bring about its balance, so that, and also in other words, that we provide good conditions so that the mind can stay in the balance. All these things we're going to, more or less, we're going to look into it also. To keep the mind, prolong the mind, so that the mind can able to note it and the progress can take place. Yeah? So equanimity here, or neutrality of the mind. So it keep the consciousness and all the mental factors in evenly, yeah? In its balanced manner, in its optimum manner. Yeah? Now, this type of state of mind, as I said, sometimes it is not that easy to be noticed. They are there, they are already there, but they are not so prominent in our practice. Yeah? It's not so prominent in our practice. And we don't have to worry about that. And we don't have to worry about that. As long as your noting mind still boleh jalan, still can able to note, then fine. You don't have to worry whether, hey, equanimity enough or not. You don't have to ask. As long as you can able to note your object, then it is perfect. Then it's fine. Yeah. But the thing is that we also want at some times during in the practice that when the mind goes into too much or too little, or it goes into agitation, or it go into attachments, delight, and so on. Then again, here we want to bring the mind back into the middle. Yeah, that is important, because if a lot of times, certain times when you meditate, for example, if the mind is not in a state of balance or noting, some delight coming in on it. Let's say you're meditating, then some small little thoughts are not big yet, but it's a kind of a very delightful thought coming in. Then you forget, then you fall into the delight. So happy. Then like that, all the story come already. And then you start pulling one after another. That means your mind has gone out of the evenness of the noting already. So you get delight into it. So the neutrality is that the balance of the mind is that it comes back to the balance, to able to aware of the state of mind that is coming up, or the agitation that is coming up, or the delight that is coming up, so that to bring the mind back into the balance. Yeah? That is not easy. That is not easy, because it's so easy for us to get delight into it. Again, a lot of times, like for example, um, you meditate, then certain past memory come in, and that past memory comes in. It comes in with a lot of grief or sadness. The moment you meditate, suddenly the image of your late mother, let's say, come from the background, right. Then all the tears come in. Then all the tears come out and everything. How are you going to meditate like that? So again here, it needs equanimity. It needs equanimity so that the mind is not dragged by that emotional state. So it needs equanimity to maintain the balance there. So it's hard to do. And we're going to, these are the things that we're going to, a lot of things that we're going to overcome. We're going to overcome. If not, every time that thought that come in, it may not be just your mother, it may be just your incidences of the past, or projection into the future, or certain anxiety in the future, certain thought that is going to happen in the future, certain things that is going to happen in the future. The moment that these type of things arises, the mind already kacau already disturbed already go into agitation already. There's no, that it comes in, there's no buffer. There's no buffer zone there. In the science, when you are younger, we talk about buffer. Like a buffer zone, let's say you put, you have a certain chemical, then you put certain buffer onto that chemical. Then you take acid, you keep on dropping into it. Supposedly the acid supposed to drop the pH, but because of the buffer, it prevents the pH from dropping. It still keep it there. You put some more, you put some more, you put some more. The buffer will do its job that the pH will not drop. Until, of course, the buffer is not strong enough, it's too much acid already, then the acid will start to drop. The pH will start to drop. So this is what we call a buffer, that the mind itself, that when you're able to note something, certain objects, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant that is coming in, that the mind is not shaken from it. The mind can able to remain in the middle. And that is difficult to do, because if you're able to do that, a lot of your problem can be solved. Mental problem that can be solved. A lot of the mental problem can be solved. That's why we call the healing process of the mind take place. It takes place because the mind does not react to it. The mind does not react to it. But not react to it doesn't mean that you just don't care, don't bother, You're still aware of it. Yeah? But you're aware of it with understanding and with wisdom. Just like what we do in this one. You still have, you're truly aware of it. You still know what is going on. Now, we're going to talk about that. Those are the things. But right now, we go a little bit of the context of from the text, from the text. They talk about there are 10 types of equanimity. 10 types of equanimity. More see already. One already mong cha already. Now you got 10 types. But anyway, all of them are actually, most of them is just another name here and there only, because of the reason that they collected it, because of from the suttas and from the commentaries and all that thing, they pull them into it so that to give us why the equanimity is being connected to that or connected to that. So those, just now what I talked about, I already mentioned some of them already. Let's look into that. What are the 10 types of equanimity? All right, the first type of equanimity. Okay, let me go through all these things. I also cannot remember all these things. But when it comes to practice, that is different thing. Practice, I can easily remember them. But when it comes into text, I've got to refer something here. The first type of equanimity is called the six-factored equanimity. Six-factored equanimity. Six-factored equanimity, technically, it does not belong to you. It belongs to the Arahant, unless you are one of them. But nevertheless, this six-factored equanimity is something that we can develop as a Vipassana meditator. And we can develop as a Vipassana meditator, and we're going to look into it, what we mean by this six-factored equanimity, and we applied it in our practice. Six-factored here, it means six sense spaces. Says from the eyes, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thought. And thoughts, six are all together, six sense spaces. So six-factored equanimity, that means the equanimity that comes in with all these sense processes. That means no matter when you see something, that means there's always equanimity there, understanding there. When you taste something, that means there's equanimity there. There's a wisdom there too, together with it. Uh, this is belongs to the Arahant. Okay, this belongs to the Arahant. But we can develop it, as I said, in a Vipassana meditator, we can see it for a short period of time. And it's good to have that also to know what is going on. Uh, the second one, is the Brahma Vihara Upeka. That's what we are doing currently in the guided meditation. We are doing the Upeka. Here the Upeka, equanimity as part of the divine abiding. This equanimity here, again here, is to bring about the balance of mind. We use the law of karma. We use the understanding of law of karma because the equanimity has to come with understanding. If that neutrality of the mind, let's say the mind is in the middle, but does not come with wisdom or understanding, right understanding, then this is not equanimity. It is just indifference, gong gong. You don't care, don't bother. For example, let's say you are in the house and your children is already starving, hungry. You don't bother, don't care. Equanimity. That is not equanimity. That is that is you are totally indifferent. Right? That indifferent. It looks like equanimity. That one is called the near enemy of upeka. Near enemy. It looks like it's like a twin brother, but it's the evil twin brother. Yeah? The equanimity here is always a wholesome mental state because it comes with understanding or wisdom, whether it's a reflective wisdom or whether it's a penetrative of wisdom or whether it's come with whether samatha wisdom or vipassana wisdom. Uh, with certain right understanding. So it has to come with that. So this equanimity as a divine abiding here, again here we reflect on this type of law of karma, of samsara. Then when we reflect on them with understanding, here again when we reflect them with this right way, our mind doesn't fall into fear and anxiety and what's going to come. Because sometimes there are people who reflect this type of things. Then they begin to fear because of they're going to die, and then the rebirth again, and then after that, and you don't know what's going to come, and all the agitation that comes together with it. And that means the mind does not come with. They have right knowledge, but then the mind is not in a state of balance. Yeah, some people like that. Some people like that. So here, when we talk about all these type of things, we reflect on karma and so on. We reflect it with the right state of mind, so that the mind comes with wisdom, balance. Then it's neither is happy nor unhappy, whether it's sad or and grief and so on. But in the middle. So that is in the way of Brahma Vihara Upeka. Now, Brahma Vihara Upeka, actually what we do, technically speaking, is not correct, technically speaking. Because Brahma Vihara, supposedly, you have to do like metta, mudita, metta, karuna, mudita. Then you're supposed to reach until the you see, metta can bring you up to first jhana, second jhana, third jhana. In the Sutanta, this one, you cannot reach the fourth jhana, which is the upeka, and this one, because metta, if you upeka, okay, how metta? If if you keep on you cannot. Metta needs a bit of joy that comes together with it. So it cannot reach to the fourth jhana. So in order to reach the fourth jhana, you have to drop off that thing. drop off the metta, and then after that, from there, you switch over to upeka, then only you reach the fourth jhana. Therefore, upeka doesn't have first, second, third one. Yeah, it doesn't have, we only have fourth only in the sense that it has to build up from the other three in order to reach the upeka, so that the upeka here reach the fourth jhana. You see, a bit technical now. So what we do is that, I said, technically not so correct, but it's still applicable because it's still a form of good reflection, a wholesome reflection. It keeps the mind calm. It keeps the mind calm. It keeps the mind doesn't go into thinking, depression or anxiety and so on, but it keeps that in the middle. So in a way, we are still doing it in a way wholesomely. Technically may not be right now, but still wholesome. Right? So usually guided, usually is people guided meditation is the first one, second one, third one. The fourth one, usually we still do, we still reflect, but the correct way is, the proper way is, as a jhana, as I said just now, after the third jhana, then the fourth jhana, we use upeka. And that one is Brahma Vihara. We don't go fall into that too much. What is important here is that this upeka, part of upeka is that it is not, the near enemy is not indifference. We don't fall into that. We don't fall into that. At least we can able to recognize what is upeka and what is indifference, what is don't care, don't bother. That type of attitude, tidak apa attitude. Don't care, don't bother attitude. The far enemy of a upeka is where agitation. Agitation is two parts here. You see, upeka is right at the middle. Agitation means that that you go into a lot of thinking for one thing. You go into restlessness and all that thing. Then it goes into like too calm, nothing there at all. There's also what do you call that? Extreme. All right. Another type of extreme is that you are happy, very happy, and then after that, very sad. Very sad. That's how we live our life. There's no middle one in our life. For most people to live our life in this world is about seeking happiness, or don't have happiness, then we get sad. There's no middle one. So the upeka is something that's difficult for us to develop. For example, somebody died. You go to the funeral, let's say your parents died or your somebody close to you died. Then if you don't cry, all your relatives look at you as something wrong with you. 不好, But the thing is that you understand this is the nature of death and everything. Perhaps you have developed the Dhamma well and good, so you don't really shed any tears coming at all. But other people bosong kalu, they don't like you because you are like that now. Everybody shed so much tears. You mean you don't love her, man? Don't love him, man? Again, upeka is not something that the worldly people praise. It's something worldly people praise to be happy, whether you're enjoying the six-factor enjoyment. The six-factor, you want to enjoy every part of the tasting, seeing, smelling, and everything. Or when you get grief, that also a six-factor suffering. Sometimes you go into once in a while they funeral and then they cry and then you see so much suffering there. Sometimes they pull their hair, they beat their chest, and then they roll on the floor and all that thing. I've seen that thing before. So attached, and then the suffering is throughout the whole body. When you're suffering and so on, you eat also, they give you the best food also, not much taste anymore. Suffering. Yeah. They give you your best choice of your your bed and best bed, you cannot sleep. Suffering. A six-factored suffering. Six-factored enjoyment. That's how the world is. So again here, when it comes into a vipassana, we bring that into the middle. We bring it in the center, but when it comes to the center, we come to the middle. It does not mean it comes with no wisdom, nothing there. It comes with full, clear understanding. Yeah? So this is Brahma Vihara Upeka. Then next one, the third one. The third one is called Bojjhanga Upeka. Equanimity as an enlightenment factor. That's what we are doing here. Then we have the fourth one, Virya Upeka. Virya Upeka. This Virya and Upeka, again here, equanimity of effort, equanimity of energy. Here, the equanimity of energy is quite simple to understand, but difficult to do. In the sense that the effort is not too much and not too little. And it comes into, again, is a state of balance. That one, that one we talk about it somewhere when we talk about effort as a factor of enlightenment, how to bring the mind when it's in balance, then we bring the mind back to balance due to the nature of the effort. So here mentioning of equanimity of energy, the fourth one. The fifth one, Sankara Upeka, equanimity about formations. That is included in the insight. We talked about that just now a little bit, Sankara Upeka. Then the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth one, Vedana Upeka. Vedana Upeka. Now, this Vedana Upeka, or the one word is called Vedanu Upeka. Now, this Vedana and Upeka, although it's being used in the context in the suttas, but this is not Upeka as what we are going to talk about. We use the word Upeka. Now, the word Upeka here, when it's connected to feelings, it is called the neither pleasant nor unpleasant feelings. Okay? Then you see that in the suttas, you see that in the like Satipatthana Sutta, there are pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, then neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. Okay? Asukha adukha masuka, neither unpleasant nor pleasant feelings. Very long, you know. Then sometimes the sutta use the word upeka as a feeling. Yeah? So this one is not in the sense of upeka, but in the sense of a feeling. This is a second aggregate in the 5 aggregates, whereas upeka that we are talking about is in the 4th aggregate, is under the mental processes and mental factors and so on. Mental formation, sankhara. Okay, so they are different. But they are connected very closely. The one that is under like the Bojjhanga Upeka and the feelings Upeka or neutral feelings, these are very connected. Because, for example, when the equanimity is there of noting when your equanimity is there, neutral feeling also is there. It follows it. Because when it follows it, but the problem is this neutral feeling is so subtle, and they are not prominent at all. All you do is the noting or object in here, but you don't see all the neutral feeling is behind it. Even when it comes to Sankara Upeka, when the Upeka becomes more prominent that time also the feelings that comes together with it are also neutral feelings. Upeka as a feeling. So very much connected, but they are two different things, two different phenomena, two different dhamma. Okay? Vedana Upeka. Then you have Vipassana upeka, equanimity about insight. That equanimity about insight, that means within the practice of Vipassana, then all the equanimity that comes together with it, it falls into it also. Now here, when we talk about these groupings of upeka, they are not like all separated, not connected, all like mixed here and there. It's just a matter of how you look at it from a different angle. Doesn't mean that they're all separated, they're all connected and so on. Then the next one, the eighth one, Tatra Majjata Upeka. Tatra Majjata Upeka, Tatra Majjatu Upeka, if it is one word. Equanimity as a specific neutrality, or equanimity as neutrality, something like that. Here, if the word Tatra Majjata is that if you learn about Abhidhamma, then under the wholesome mental factors, then we have this Tatra Majjatata, neutrality. The word Tatra means either there or here. Majjata means middle. There is middleness or neutrality lah, the Pali word. So Tatra Majjata Upeka. So equanimity as a specific neutrality. Then the ninth one, you have a Jhana Upeka or Jhana Upeka, one word. Equanimity of Jhana. That was we talk about that. Then again here, the 10th one is Parisuddha Upeka. Parisuddha means purification. Upeka, equanimity. Parisuddhu Upeka, if it's one word, drop the A. So, Parisuddha Upeka here, again, this is similar as the 9th one, Jhana Upeka. Because when you reach to the state of jhana, especially the 4th jhana, then the mind is really purified at that time. Really purified. All your thoughts and everything is purified from a lot of things. So that type of equanimity that is there, it's purified. So they call it purification, equanimity of purification. But although we talk about 10, because of different texts they mention about these type of things, but we are not going to use all of them lah. If we're going to talk all of them, another 1 month or so cannot finish. We don't have 1 month more. So we talk about what is concerning to us. Concerning to us, and what is concerning to us is those like when we are practicing and how we apply the equanimity into our practice. Now, let's take the 6-factor equanimity. Let's take a 6-factor equanimity, because these type of things, it affects the yogi a lot. And it's good that we learn how to bring about the balanced state of mind whenever we pay attention to the object of our meditation. So that the mind doesn't go into certain excessiveness or certain deficiency. Okay? Now, just now I gave you the what? Example on the, let me, now. Hold on. Okay. Now, I gave you the example of thoughts coming in, sadness coming in. And then when this type of sadness coming in, this type of thoughts coming in, you get sadness, or then after that, grief, crying. Or sometimes for some people, it may be like created images that coming in, then after that, the fear arises, strong fear. Sometimes, like for example, you meditate, then you hear of some noises like hantu like that, Then fear all coming in. Sometimes you meditate, then you hear walking, walking. Then you open the eyes, you see bolang. How? Nobody. Then also you get fear coming in. Yesterday night, here I was doing my thing. Suddenly I hear two knocks on my door. I thought somebody come in. Say, yeah, say, yeah, hold on now. Then I go out and see nobody. What? Nobody. I don't care what Nowadays I'm so used to all these things that there's no fear, nothing at all. I just continue doing my things. But a lot of you, it's different scenario. Totally different thing altogether. Because the mind already shaken already. Yeah. Many times actually, whenever you stay in a forest center, more of a forest center, sometimes you stay in a kuti and all that. And like you go into Burma or Thailand, or sometimes here also, once in a while, you see that type of wall lizard, that big one. This big one, and they are quite colorful one. Sometimes they got reddish and all that. Not the normal little one that running around. This one, a huge one. Some and they what they do, they like to come on the wall, and then sometimes they go into on your door. Then when they go to your door, sometimes they want to signal to other of their potential mate or their potential enemy. So sometimes what they do is that they at the door there, their tail, pop 2 or 3 times. At least like somebody's knocking the door. So when you keep on opening, you don't see them, then you close again. Then they pop, and then you open up, but you don't see the door. But they keep pop, knocking. Then we keep looking and looking, where they are? Who are they? And keep on knocking the door. Then if you don't, the fear don't come up also, something. Now after a while, you see, all this type of thing, if your mind doesn't come into a state of balance, this type of thing is really going to kacau you in your meditation. It's really going to disturb you. All the sound that is coming in and all the vision that is coming in, sometimes because maybe because of your meditation, you get up a little bit, your eyes become more sensitive, and then something passed through. Sometimes maybe something passed through by the corner of your eye. You look, see bolang, nobody. Then again you fear. Then inside the mind, it starts to create all kinds of things. Other words, your mind is out of balance already. Earlier on, you're noting. Then somebody knocking on the door, you wake up and you get up from your seat and then you open, nobody, then you start fear, then you sit down again, then you another time, whole mind keep on shaking. How to meditate like that? So that's what I'm saying. It is not easy. This neutrality of mind, this balanced state of mind, it's not easy. You keep on running to these type of thoughts. And what else, like certain thoughts like reoccurring to you. For example, that there are certain bad incidents that happened in the past. Some bad incident that happened to you or certain situation happening in the past. And then every time you sit down there, you get so angry. Or you get so sad at that time. Your whole meditation in a way koyak, at that moment of time. Every time that thoughts come in, that certain specific type of thought, certain theme of that thought, the whole mind goes into, cannot meditate anymore. So strong, this type of thoughts. Or sometimes we meditate, and then we think of our loved ones, as going to die because they're getting older, they're going to die. But you're not looking at it from a perspective of wholesome state of mind, but you're looking at it from a perspective of a lot of anxiety is going to come up because future, these type of things that is going to happen and they will happen, and then the mind gets so agitated. Then every time you sit down, you meditate or you walk, your mind is totally agitated at all. You cannot meditate. So how? Like that. What are you going to do? So here, equanimity is So important. So important that, as I said, a lot of times we don't apply onto it. We don't keep the mind steady. We always like let the mind fluctuate between fear and then again after that happy. And again, if as I said, certain thoughts, if those type of suffering type of thoughts, you already fluctuate to there and so much problem. Fear arises, sadness arises, anger arises, irritation, annoyance arises. But then when we switch over to the other side, the more pleasant side, and that again, it shifts the mind again towards the all the happy ones. Then, for example, those thoughts that is happy to you. Perhaps that you are in the childhood there, your parents take you to somewhere else, and then while you meditate, you recreate the whole scenario all over again. Because rising, falling, boring already, ma. Sitting, touching, boring. Nothing else to see, same old thing. Then after that, the thoughts come up. The moment the thoughts come up, you fall into it. It's so pleasant inside there. You get dragged into it. Then you recreate the story all over again. You and I have get caught into these type of things again and again, again and again. And the deeper that you go into this meditation, because of your mindfulness becomes clearer, stronger, more continuous, these type of thoughts become even more clearer to you. Just like your pain become more stronger, rising, falling become more stronger. Everything become more strong. The image of the memory of the past also becomes even more stronger than to you. So it's other words are things that you don't recall it when you are out there, when you're not meditating. But when you're meditating, these things can become very impactful, very clear. Now, the problem is that when these things happen, we fall into it. We fall into it and we recreate it, and the joy and the happiness is all there. Then after that, when you want to come back to meditate again, wow, the mind is like agitated. It's like a lot of the energy is not balanced because the joy itself is a very energetic factor. And it creates a lot of happiness there. Then how to meditate? Then another problem. But the problem is that you like it. You love it. The one, the suffering one, you want to push away. Yeah. But the one that is pleasant one, you keep on liking it and you replay it again and again and again and again. Then all the meditation object is out. So again here, as I said, while we are meditating, the fluctuation of the mind between happiness and sadness and anger and so on, they fluctuate both sides. So here is the trick, is to bring it back to the center. And that is where mindfulness is going to be very helpful. Yeah? We're going to continue on this on tomorrow. We're going to look into it and how we able to stabilize the mind. Okay. Share merits. Idang may bawanang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba sattanang dema. We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.